This is a matchup for the ages. Body cuts a path straight to the paint. And she serves up a slam dunk. Oh, Body may have the win, but Frank really got the W on that play. That's gotta hurt.
Everyone, welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic post-game show. I'm your host, Leah Nelson. Chelsea Poppens will be joining me in the Wild Rose Casino studio in just a little bit. Iowa State loses a tough one to UConn, but before we jump into that, let's thank a couple of our sponsors. Our friends over at Channel C, they're a title sponsor for both men's and women's basketball shows this season. They're huge Iowa State fans, so we're super thankful for them. And our friends at Fairway, they've been with us through it all. We're really thankful for Fairway as well. So thanks to our sponsors. Chelsea, let's hop into it. Obviously, tough game. But I think I want to start with kind of the elephant in the room, the question. It seems like this isn't the Iowa State basketball team that we expected to see. It's a lot different than last year. And I'd love to just kind of hear your perspective of what's the difference from last year's team to this year's team?
I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about who's, like, as far as players that are missing, like the key players are there. I think it's just finding that balance. Like, we can't have only Emily Ryan, Brown, and Crooks scoring. Like, tonight was nice to see Harris getting up there and scoring a little bit more. I'm trying to get those box stats in front of me, but like, what did Harris have? 17. Like, I know it wasn't a good game, or it wasn't a nice game to watch, especially that first quarter, but like, Harris had 17. I'm like, that's
huge.
Like, huge to see her stepping up, where Brown only has 9 points today. But like, the fact that Sydney was able to step up, I think that's big time for the Cyclones, because it can't always go through Audie. Audie's going to do what Audie does. And she got 22 points tonight. That's like a normal night. She's going to do her thing. But if like other Cyclones aren't willing to step up and balance and distribute and spread the court, spread the defense and make them choose, like, it's going to be a long conference play.
This game was definitely better. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this game was definitely better than the South Carolina game. And like, you have to give credit to UConn. We were texting, like, they have a school record for most made threes this game. What did they end up with? 20, we 20, said?
Yeah.
And Shade went, 6 or 5 for 5 in the first quarter? Like,
yeah, like, that was absolutely nuts. Like, she had the first 14 points, just
right,
her alone.
Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah, but also the fact that they shot 58.8%. Like, 20 for 34 threes. Like, that's stupid. And I mean, kudos to them. Like, they were hot. They were feeling it. But like, Iowa State didn't belong in a zone.
Right.
Like, right off the bat, because UConn showed up and showed out and kind of throat punched us in the beginning. Like, yeah, it was not fun. But I mean, I'm like, the second quarter started to pick up. The third quarter was much better. And we were all, Aiden, you and I were talking about like what would be look like a successful game for Iowa State is like if they're able to get to that 60 points, because UConn has been holding teams below that. And like, I think it's good that we made it there, but the game was won with the 3-pointers. The game was won at the arch. Like, they can't be getting 34 3-pointers off and making 20 of them. Like, that's a flaw in the defense, and that's a flaw in the scout a little bit. And yeah.
So do you think they should have gone man to man a lot quicker, sooner?
I think so. But Coach did call a timeout. I mean, it's not like he assumed that Shade would make the first 14 points from the arc. But also, like, Iowa State has been struggling to follow the scout, and hasn't always been like the best defensive recovery in that space. So I mean, that's rough. I just can't get over it.
You just gotta laugh because it's like that would happen. That literally would happen. But I mean, I love talking about some of the positives. You know, I feel like people stepped up, like you mentioned Harris. I was excited to see Emily Ryan kind of take a couple more shots. She looked really confident with the ball, and I have to read a stat. With 9 points so far tonight, this was way before, Ryan passes Chelsea Poppens as Iowa State's 16th all-time leading scorer.
Shut your mouth.
It's right here.
Where's the asterisk for the COVID year?
With the asterisk. But yeah, I thought that was funny and fun timing. But I mean, that just attests to like what Emily Ryan's doing. She definitely seemed more confident when the ball was in her hand. She was like, I'm just going to take it to the hoop. I'm going to do it if no one else can. So
yeah, no, I love to see that because like she really hasn't been as aggressive as she even was last year. I don't think. I think like she doesn't look for her shot as much as she did last year, and she needs to. She's a veteran. I think she also showed up with like. I think because like she got 9 points, at least she had a little chip on her shoulder. It's UConn, and she's the veteran of the team. So like, at the same time, her name's at stake because she's the leadership role at Iowa State, and if she can't rally the team around this type of game, and get everybody going, then I mean, like it just shows that she needs to either get more vocal or like that, look for more shots.
1000%. So. Obviously, it's been a tough non-con. We've talked about this like every pregame and postgame show, I feel like. But what can they take from these games into Big 12? It starts, Saturday with Oklahoma State, and obviously Big 12 conference ball is a different beast. So, you know, what does Iowa State need to work on, take from, honestly, anything going into Big 12?
I think it's kind of a repetitive thing of what those last few games or last hard games have shown is like follow the scout, got to get locked in on that discipline of playing the players right. Turnovers weren't as bad today. I mean, 14-8 isn't great, but UConn's a good team. The offensive boards, coaches talked about that a lot. We had 3 offensive boards, but at the same time, maybe that was coach's tactic because like when we played UConn for the Sweet 16, I was the only one rebounding and everybody else was sent back in order to prepare for UConn's like aggressive offense. So, I mean, there's things I like you said, other people scoring, other people looking for their shots, having a balanced offense that isn't solely like gone through crooks. That's kind of the goal. And in order to play like a good conference game.
From like a player perspective, obviously, I mean, I hate to say this, but you've probably experienced some tough losses. Everyone has.
No,
no,
never.
But you know, how do you let it not necessarily roll off your shoulders, but how do you not let it like totally engulf you and just kind of make you sink? Because that those are tough, especially when you've had multiple in a row, and it seems like, you know, if you're looking on social media, people are being negative. And so how do you just kind of not let it totally engulf you, but also learn from it?
I mean, today's day and age is a lot different, like you said, with social media. Back in my day, there was maybe just like there wasn't as much social media and there wasn't as many fans tearing us down online. I think that's something for fans to be cognizant of. Like these are young women, young athletes. Like it's a young team, a lot of sophomores, and like the way you talk about them matters. So like check yourself, but also like check yourself. We're adults, right. We're mature. We should see it from a different perspective. But like even I remember a season, I don't remember which one because it was a long time ago, but we started conference game off with like 5 losses right off the bat. And it was an all-time low. And I remember flying back from, I don't know, some game, and we're getting back at like midnight, 1 a.m. And it's just like, it's deflating to have experienced those games and experience those losses and not like step into what you're capable of. Like they proved they're capable of last year. And like, yeah, it might be a long season, but like they're learning so much going up against these amazing teams. and they will get it together. They proved that they can get it together. They did it last year at the end in March Madness. So don't just be a fair weather fan. That's like, oh yeah, I didn't like them in the beginning of the season, but when March Madness comes and Audie's putting up 40, like, go State.
Right.
Like,
the fake fans. Yeah.
I'm like, it's just one of those things. Like, they're young ladies, they're learning, they're maturing, they're growing, and like, this is just the beginning of most of their collegiate careers. So like, Coach Finley's there to coach them. He has a ton of experience. So do the rest of the coaching staff, and they're gonna only get on them about the things that they're seeing and then the ways that need to prepare for conference play. So
I think that's a perfect way to end the post-game show. Do you have any more words of wisdom for the girls going forward if they ever listen to this, or fans?
Man, to all the ladies, we support you. We love you. Keep trucking along. We know what you're capable of, and we believe in you. So what about you, Leah?
Keep being positive. Keep being
the vibe alive.
Keep the vibes alive. Keep being, the student athletes we all know and love. It's easy to let those outside, voices kind of get in and really be negative, and kind of, it hurts sometimes. And
it's
even if
for people to blame.
1000%, but like you said, keep trucking along. It's a long season. And Big 12 again is a different beast, but it's fun. Conference games.
You also have to think that, like, right now they're dealing with finals, end of school year.
1000%.
But like, they are balancing a lot. Like, their social life is probably non-existent right now because they have like 2 more weeks till Christmas break, and it's already been a very long beginning of the season.
Right.
They had so many games in early on, and then it kind of it spaced out, but it was still incredibly tough teams that they were playing, and then having to go to the next game and recover from. And so I think after they have a break, they will have a time to mentally regroup and pull it together. And so I think that's something to look forward to.
And you guys got to go home for a couple days, right? Short-lived Christmas break, but
yeah, I think they have a longer Christmas break than we ever did.
That's the way to go. Yeah. You get to spend some time with friends, family, celebrate the holidays. So I think it's going to be good. Good vibes. Feeling good.
Optimism. Let's go.
Being positive. But thanks so much, Chelsea, for all your perspective. Again, congrats to Emily on passing Chelsea.
Congrats, Emily. You're a baller.
You're a baller, yes. But thanks so much. You guys can tune back in for Saturday when we take on Oklahoma State, and follow along. Go Cyclones.